Today's quote is from Jim Rohn. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. So don't worry, be happy. God has a plan for everything. Enjoy your moments.
Thank you, William. Now we move on to the next item. Oh, who's that guy? Well, I guess I'm supposed to share a little bit of experience about what I have learned since I joined this committee. I've never joined any committees with Wsgr Valley Realtors before. This is my first experience, so I've been having a learning experience, to say the least. And I've done this for 3 weeks now. This is my 4th week, and lucky me, this month we have 5 weeks. So I will have another stab at this next week. And it's a learning experience. As I said, I think although I've been a realtor for a long time, I just take whatever else's leadership for granted. And now I am in this committee. I'm learning to, getting to know how this machine works, this organization. And I encourage all of you who are joining us virtually or who are thinking about joining this board committees, and I encourage you to come in and share your experience and contribute to this organization that's helping all the realtors. Well, I think we have more than 3,000 members, and all your ideas. This you can. This is a good platform. It's very friendly, and a good opportunity to speak in public. I think it's a good practice. We speak in public all the time in one form or another. And you will know what's the inner workings and how some of the decisions are made. I think some of the members of other committees, they have visited Sacramento to see how the different bills are being proposed and how it's impacting the whole real estate industry and our livelihood. So this is a good organization. I encourage you to follow and join. And so next, we do a few housekeeping tips. And number one, all participants will be muted upon entry to the MLS breakfast meetings. And if you have any questions or comments, please remember to enter into the chat box. And remember to join us weekly, as we will have our hybrid MLS meetings every Thursday at 9 a.m. As always, all these meetings are being recorded and can be available for you to see on YouTube channel, Wsgr Valley Realtors. And please remember to follow WSGVR social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also watch all the pre-recorded videos on YouTube. And also remember to program WSGVR to your phone so you can receive updated information. And just type WSGVR to this phone number, 888-304-4055. And next, we have a few quick tips. The CRMLS rule 10.2 says failure to timely report listing status, changes, and sales. So the reporting of sales, all listings accepted, offered, shall be reported to the MLS or input into the MLS database as pending or active under contract within 2 business days of acceptance by the listing broker. And also upon final closing, the listing broker shall report or input the listing in the MLS as sold and report the selling price within 2 business days of final closing date. Failure to timely take the necessary corrective action referenced above by will result in the issuance of a citation and a fine in the amount of $250. That's a lot of money. So, and so just remember to report all the changes within 2 business days. And now we have today's agenda. Today's agenda consists of our affiliate spotlights, Sage Gomez of My NHD, and followed by our guest speaker and moderator, Carlos Rodriguez of Lewis Homes. And we have a panelist of 3 escrow officers, Deanna, Beltran, Jacqueline Chu, and Cheou. And just as a reminder that to be eligible for today's drawings, you must be a Wsgr member. And if you are joining us virtually, your name must be displayed to win. And no telephone numbers will be accepted. We will have attendance drawing, WSGVR store gift card drawing, and also a 50-50 drawing. So if you have not put your business card in this cage, please do that so you have a chance to win. And today's affiliate spotlight will be brought to you by our affiliate committee, Chair Brandon Savransky and Vice Chair Joseph Wen. Take it away, Sage.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sage Gomez. I'm with My NHD, Natural Hazard Disclosure. So a little bit about me. I've been in the industry for about 3 years now, and the Wsgr board was the first association I've ever been a part of. And I love it here. I actually was the affiliate chair last year, and I won the special recognition award as well. So I love it here. I'm never going to stop coming here. So if you ever need anything with natural hazard disclosures, I'm your girl. But let's get into the slideshow. All right, that's my business card. If you ever need anything, that's my information. Let's go to the fun part. Puppies. Who doesn't like dogs? So we were fortunate enough to get a puppy this past Christmas. We've always had dogs in our family, and this is going to be our 5th generation. So unfortunately, we had a mother and a daughter, and they both passed during COVID. So we didn't have a puppy for about 2 years, and then we got Yuba. My dad wanted to name her after a county in California, and Yuba sounded the coolest, so that's her name. And then if you go, so the first slide was when she was maybe like a couple months. She's still a little puppy right here, so it's just the growth in her. And then if you want to go to the next one, and look how big she is now. So she's going to get way bigger. She's only about 8 or 9 months right now, but she's a really good dog. And so if you have any dogs, if you have any cats, if you have any animals, just add me on Facebook and send them over to me. So I'm a huge animal lover. And then once again, if you need anything in terms of natural hazard disclosure, my NHD is actually vetted by the California Association of Realtors. We're #1 on your zip forms, and we have 10 million E&O insurance just in case anything happens. However, we've never had to use that E&O insurance over 25 years. Also, in our terms and conditions, if anything were to go hairy, we indemnify the broker, the real estate agent, the TC, the escrow company, and the seller, and everyone involved. But like I said, we've never ever had to use our E&O insurance, but we have that in our terms and conditions because we want to earn your business, we want to earn your respect, and we believe in our product and we believe in the data that we receive. So if you need anything at all in regards to natural hazard disclosure, and also if you have any pictures of puppies or animals, please send it over to me. And then good luck to all the panelists and Jacqueline and Deanna.
Thank you, Sage. Now we have our affiliate introductions for today. All the affiliates who are here, please line up in the front. And we will also have affiliates introductions virtually. First, we do the virtual affiliates. And first, we have Unita Wu of Home Warranty of America.
Good morning, everyone. Unita Wu from Home Warranty of America, your 13 months home warranty. Please let me know if you need any home warranty needs. We're here to help you. Thank you. Happy Thursday.
Next, we have Brendan Savransky of First American NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Brandon Savransky with First American NHD. Have a fantastic day.
Next, we have John Wax of Snap NHD.
Good morning, everyone. John Wax with Snap NHD for all your NHD tax environmental needs. Great job, George. Yes, you get 5 weeks. Have a wonderful day and stay cool and drink lots of water. It's going to be hot out there.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Information in the chat.
And do we have any more virtual? Okay.
Yes, good morning. This is Judy Chow, Senior Loan Officer from AA Capital. I speak Chinese and English to help you get your client pre-approved, funded, and closed. Interest rates are cooling off a little bit. We hope this has capped and it's going down. Thank you.
Next, we have Sage, who's here.
Hi again, Sage Gomez with my NHD.
Then we have Yolanda Martinez Arena.
She is not present.
Oh, she's not present. Okay, we'll skip her. We'll go to next.
That's it.
Oh,
We go
that's it.
live.
Okay, now the affiliates who are here.
Hi, good morning. My name is Joseph Wynn with Pillar to Post Home Inspectors. Everybody have a fantastic day. Stay cool.
Good morning, Nancy Chan, Lawyer's Title. Have a wonderful day.
Hello, Marcus Jacques with Western Resources Title. Good to see everyone.
I'm Daniel. I work at Western River Plumbing.
Good morning. This is Annie Fan, Chicago Title. Have an amazing day.
Good morning. This is Alex, your feng shui master. Thank you.
Good morning, David Tran with Home Guard Home Warranty. With a hat or without a hat, with mask or without a mask, you recognize me. And I see that there are 80 people plus online. I'm imagining if you all buy a ticket for me, I'll be rich by now. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Lucia Tam from CAREPA, Chinese American Real Estate Professionals Association. Have a good, cool summer. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, affiliates. And please remember to support our affiliates with your transactions. Now we're happy to include open pitching to our virtual MLS breakfast meeting. Today we have one listing from Mindy Ye of REMAX 2000. Take it away, Mindy.
Thank you, George. Happy summer and good morning, all. Mindy Ye with REMAX 2000 Realty. Please stop by this Saturday at my open house 125 at my new listing at 11019 Flower Avenue, Fountain Valley. It's in Orange County, close to Huntington Beach and Little Saigon. First time on the market in the last 45 years, newly upgraded with quartz countertop, freshly exterior, interior painted, and so much more. It's across the street from the well-known Wsgr Park. It's literally 1 mile. Recreation center and golf course, offering at 1.28. Looking forward to seeing all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. So now please help me to welcome Mr. Carlos Rodriguez of Lewis Group of Companies, Lewis Homes, and who will be our moderator today. And he will be introducing our panelists.
All right, thank you, George. So as George said, my name is Carlos Rodriguez. I'm with the Lewis Group of Companies, formerly known as Lewis Homes. It's people still know us as Lewis Homes. We actually sold that division to KB Home back in the late 90s, but it is stuck. It's kind of like the word jacuzzi. It's kind of a strict thing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and introduce each of the panelists, and then we'll go into our questions and have a good time. Just want to say thank you to the Western Gabriel Valley Realtors for letting me moderate this, and it's good to come out here and enjoy this with you guys, as well as the people out in Zoom land. All right, so first I'll introduce Deanna Beltran with Withholding Escrow, and say something about yourself.
You're done.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Deanna. I am with Loyalty Escrow. We are in Temple City. We are new to the city. I've been in escrow for 16 years now. We just opened up an escrow company, and this is actually also the first committee that I become a member of, which is San Gabriel, West San Gabriel Valley of Realtors. I'm excited to be here, and if there's anything that we can do for you guys, please feel free to reach out to us.
The next, we have Jacqueline Chu with Champion Escrow.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here for our escrow panel. And thank you for all those who's attending virtually. My name is Jacqueline Chu, and I'm from Champion Escrow. I've been in the business since right out of college, and that's been 29 years since. And this year, my company will be celebrating 18 years in business in the beautiful city of Temple City. And I do have two professional designations. One is CEO, and CEO, does not represent that I am the CEO of my company, but instead it is a certified escrow officer. So not only that I had been certified once, but I have been certified twice. I also have a professional designation for senior, certified senior escrow officer, and that's CSEO. That just means that I am committed to maintaining my continued education so I can be resourceful to my clients. And for those of you who have been, in the past here, where this San Gabriel Association has conducted some golf tournaments, you know that I enjoy golf. And I also like traveling. And since the pandemic, I can make a really good cheesecake. And for $45, I will deliver anywhere in the San Gabriel Valley.
And next we have Cheou with Jewel Escrow.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cheou, and I'm with Jewel Escrow. Our office is located in Diamond Bar, but I actually live in San Gabriel Valley, so it's convenient for a lot of agents that I have around this area too, because I am accessible to drop off packages, especially closings. A little bit about myself. I started in escrow in the late 1990s, so I have a little bit over 20 years experience. But I've gone out of the realm of escrow a couple of times in the industry, or in my experience in real estate. So I was licensed as a real estate agent as well, and I sold homes at Toll Brothers as well. But I ended up coming back to doing escrow because it is my passion. So if any of you guys have any questions at any time, please always feel free to give me a call.
All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to start asking some questions from each of the panelists. And then please hold your questions till the end, or look for them to get answered if we do have time remaining at the very end of the questions and answers. So first, we're going to start off with Deanna Beltran. So question number one is regarding assignments. And I guess after I ask the question, let's talk about, just explain what an assignment is, and then go into the question. So on a FSBO, do you disclose the assignment fee to seller? On a regular sale of the car contract, do you disclose assignment fee for seller?
Yes, so we do get this a lot. I know there's a lot of escrow companies that don't like to touch assignments. We do them, but of course, I think everybody does them differently. I know for sale by owner, we do have to disclose to the seller that it's being assigned, right? Just like a regular sale as well, but we don't disclose the assignment fee. They have come up with like a new, I don't want to say a cheap word, but they're saying, oh, it's not an assignment fee, it's a marketing fee. I said, it's still an assignment fee. So we have to, again, if it's an for sale by owner, we don't disclose the assignment fee to the seller. If there is agents involved and we're using a car contract, the assignment fee, marketing fee, whatever it is that you guys want to call it, needs to be disclosed to the seller. And I know that the new AAOA form on the car form, the assignment form, does have a spot now for you guys to write down what the assignment fee is. So again, if you don't disclose it in that form, the assignment form, but then you give me instructions to pay an assignment fee or marketing fee, then I would have to disclose it on a regular sale to the seller.
Okay. Good answer. Now, this is going to be for Jacqueline Chu. we are closing escrow in June. My seller says he has paid property taxes for the entire year and expects the buyer to credit him back. Is my seller correct?
Well, at the close of escrow, we would prorate property taxes for seller and buyer, right? For the period before the close of escrow, seller pays. And for the period after the close of escrow, buyer pays. If the seller has already paid the property tax, we will charge the buyer a prorated share, the buyer's prorated share, and credit that to the seller. Now, what we have noticed is that many sellers and buyers do not know how the property taxes are collected. They often think that the property taxes are collected on a calendar year, but actually it is collected on a fiscal year. It goes from June 1st through July 1st through June 30th of the following year, okay? So, and does anyone here remember when we would receive the property tax bills from the county every year?
Nobody's raising their hand.
Yeah, sometimes the end of September or the beginning of October, right? When we get that bill, there are 2 installments in there. The first installment is due November 1st and then becomes delinquent after December 10th. And that installment covers the period from July 1st to December 31st. And then the second installment is due on February 1st and then delinquent after April 10th. And that covers the period from January 1st to June 30th. So as you can see, the first half of the first installment covers the second half of the year. And the second installment covers the first half of the year. So it's kind of confusing, right? So if we close escrow today, June 23rd, right? And the seller tells you that they pay the property tax to the end of the year, that is incorrect. Because the second half, the bill for the second half, no one has received it yet.
That's some good information right there. Don't get yourselves in trouble. All right, so the next question is for Cheou, and this is regarding trust, which is good because with the increase in property values, everybody should have some kind of a trust, right? So the question is, what is needed when your client, seller or buyer, is in a trust?
Okay, so when a seller or buyer is in a trust, escrow will require what's called a notarized trust certification, which the parties to the trust will need to provide information such as the name of the trustees, the date the trust was created, settlers of the trust, current acting trustees of the trust, things like the trust identification number, and other information pertaining to the trust agreement. So whether it's a buyer or seller, this is required that we would have to provide to title, and it does have to be notarized. In the case of a buyer purchasing a property in the trust, typically at the opening of escrow, we like to either ask for a copy of the trust or the page of the trust that states the name of the trust and who the trustees are, so we can have a correct vesting on our escrow instructions. If the seller is in a trust, there are some particular situations where the seller's in a trust, but one of the actual trustee members passed away. In that case, we will typically need to ask for a full copy of a trust. And I'll give you an example. I had a sale recently where the seller was in a trust. One of the trustees had already passed away, but they had already recorded the affidavit of death of the trustee, but the second trustee member had passed away recently. So in that case, when they opened, we needed a copy of the trust, right? And then also there are other documents. In this case, we would need the certified original copy of the death certificate, and in escrow, we would have to also do some additional paperwork. But in cases like that, you can always give me a call and give me the details, and I can run the scenario with you.
So a really quick question on that topic. What if somebody can't find their trust? Where do they go? Like if an agent has a client that says, you know what, I don't know what happened to the trust. It was years ago that my parents did it for us, and it's I can't find it.
Well, typically, I mean, usually they have someone create that trust for them, so I would tell them to contact the attorney or the person that actually created that trust.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, back to Deanna. So the question is, escrow canceled and the buyer is asking for you to release a deposit to them. You know, who hasn't had an escrow cancel all of a sudden? Because they cancel, but the seller has not signed your escrow cancellation form, but they signed the car cancellation of contract. Do you release it?
The answer is no. So basically where my question is directed, it's a two-part process, right? So we typically receive the car contract executed by the seller and the buyer. And then once we receive that, we issue the escrow cancellation showing where the deposit's being released to. Most cases, it's released to the buyer, right? Some cases it's split. But I cannot release money until my seller and my buyer sign my escrow cancellation. So I have had scenarios where obviously the seller signed it, right? They want their money back, but the seller hasn't. And I cannot release the money until I have a fully executed escrow cancellation form.
Excellent. All right, Jacqueline. My seller said she owes $500,000 on her mortgage, but the closing statement shows the payoff amount was more than $500,000. How to explain to my seller?
Well, this is because when we pay mortgage, it is not like rent where you pay on the first of the month and it's for that month. For mortgage, it's the other way around. We pay our interest after the month, okay? So, for example, your June 1st payment pays for the interest due in May. And then your May payment had paid for interest due in April. And then April had paid for March, right? So, so therefore, anytime when you pay off the loan, there is always unpaid interest that you would have to add to the principal balance to completely pay off the loan. And this is the reason that when you get a new loan, you don't start the first mortgage payment for like 30 days out. So for example, if you get a loan today, your first payment won't start until August 1st. So you won't have a payment in July, okay? So just remember, when you pay off the loan, you need to add back the interest that you haven't paid. So then your loan can completely pay in full.
Thank you. Now, Anne, what happens in escrow if the property your client is selling is an investment property?
Okay, so when you're in escrow and you represent a seller and the seller has a home that's an investment property, well, in every escrow transaction in California, it's required that each seller complete what's called a 593 withholding form, which determines if the seller has to pay the franchise tax board a withholding amount, which is typically 3 1/3% of the purchase price. If the property is an investment property, the seller will generally have to pay the 3 1/3% of the purchase price withholding amount. Or the seller can have their CPA assistant in the completion of this form, which can then have a different withholding amount. Or I tell agents as well that you can suggest to the seller to do a 1031 exchange, which can essentially help lead to a potential other sale for the agent as well. And that can also defer the 3 1/3 withholding that the seller does have to pay.
All right, thank you. Hey, back to Deanna. The deposit amount per the car contract is 2% of the sales price. There is a counter for a higher sales price. The deposit is supposed to be 2% of the new sales price, correct?
Correct. So I've noticed that, let's just say my sales price is 500,000 on the original offer, and it's a 2% deposit, right? That's a $10,000 deposit. And there's a counter offer, right? For 550,000. The deposit is now 2% of the 550,000, which is $11,000. So I've had a few agents that say, well, no, we're sticking to the $10,000. And I tell them, no, it's based on it. So just make sure if there's a counter and you don't want the deposit to change from 5,000 or 10,000, which is the original amount stated, make sure that you counter it, that the deposits to remain, in this case, $10,000. Typically, we will request a new percentage amount based on the new sales price. I know I've been told by some agents that, I guess on the new contract, when you're inputting the sales price and you put like, I don't know, you want the deposit to be 10,000, it automatically calculates like the percentage as well. So sometimes that's why it's gonna change when you want it to be a specific amount, but I suggest just make sure that if there is a counter offer for the sales price and your buyer only wants to put down those $10,000, make sure it's specified in that counter offer.
That's really good information. Didn't think about that. Okay, Jacqueline, what do we need to do when the property has solar panels? Now, you see that so much. That's a really good question.
If you're taking a listing and the property has solar panels, be sure to ask your seller for the solar company information and ask if the solar panels are paid in full or are they still on a lease. And also ask them for a copy of the solar agreement, because you will need to disclose this information to the buyer and also provide the information to the escrow. So then escrow right away can start to contact the solar company and initiate the transfer process. Now, if the solar panels are on a lease, the solar company needs to provide documentations for the new buyer to sign for them to assume the lease. They also need to terminate the lien so that the buyer's lender can fund the loan, because they won't fund the loan until they see that the solar company has already issued the UCC terminations, okay? And even if the solar panels are already paid in full, we can still transfer the warranty if it is still under warranty to the buyer, okay? And so just make sure you provide that information to the escrow company ASAP, because the solar companies may take up to about 2 weeks to process.
Great information. Now, Anne, what do you as a listing agent need to do when you have a seller who is a foreigner?
Okay, so if you have a transaction where you're about to take a listing or you're getting a sale and your seller is a foreigner, there are a couple steps there's a lot of steps that are different than a regular purchase. So typically we like to tell the agent, you need to let the selling agent know that the seller is a foreigner. Also, you need to let the escrow officer know so we can prepare the proper paperwork and include important steps to the process of the escrow, because now there's more steps that need to be taken in an escrow. You will need to prepare your seller by letting them know that they will have to obtain a tax ID number, which sellers will need to apply with an experienced CPA that knows how to deal with a foreigner that's about to do a sale transaction on a property that they own in the United States, and in our case, it's California. And also let the seller know that there will be an IRS tax withholding of 15% of the purchase price, as well as in California, the franchise tax withholding amount of 3 1/3 of the purchase price. Each file for a foreigner in an involved escrow is completely different. It's different for each case. But if you do have a seller who's a foreigner, you can always contact me and we can go through the process and also give more detailed information on what the process would be.
Okay, now we go into the bonus round. None of the panelists actually know what the next question is going to be, so we're going to leave it up to them to come forward and answer the best they can. So question number 1, And you guys can choose, between yourselves. What to watch out for when reading the LA Residential Report 9A? Whatever that means. Does anybody want to answer that one?
One thing I look out for, I think it's page 4, and I don't see it a lot on residential. I see it more on vacant lands, where there's like brush liens that are not complete. I'm sorry, they're not completed, and these don't show on the prelim. These will only show on the 9A report, and it's sometimes because the county has to come in, like the fire department, and clean out the weeds and dead grass or something. So there's a lien that we have to request, and we have to call the number, we have to email or fax the request, and that takes a long time. They take like 5 to 10 days to get back. So those are one of the things that I look out for. I think the agent should look out, they'll tell you if it's a single family residence, if it's a duplex, apartment complex. I think those are things you guys should look out for. It's important.
Cleaning out the weeds and dead grass in the Adelanto area could have a double meaning to say. Okay, so question number 2, let's see. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
If I may, what Deanna brought up was really good. Those are items that you should look out for. But I also wanted to share one of my experience on this 9A report from the past, was that on the 9A report, there's an area where they would show whether there is sewer connection. Yeah, so one time I had a report that says that there's no sewer connection. So the buyer got really freaked out. So we, of course, the closing was then delayed a little bit because then the buyer wanted to do more investigation. But as it turns out, it's not that there was no sewer connection, it's just that they don't show that information on file. So what the city recommended them to do was they had to put some dye, through the plumbing, and then check, that the water did flow out. And then after that, they did issue a permit for the buyer. So that's how they had, resolved that situation.
Good answer. Lots, and it comes to mind that when you're out there doing transactions, you have questions. It's so amazing to have these kinds of partners who've been through a lot of experiences to be able to support your transactions with their vast knowledge. So that's really interesting. Okay, let's see another. How much time do we have, by the way? Just curious. 5 more minutes. Okay, 5 more minutes. Good. We have some questions up here. Let's take one from up here. Do we have any up there we can go after? Is there a question?
No.
Here we go. Let's say Jason Lee to everybody. So hi, regarding the deposit percentage. Regarding the deposit percentage increase on the counter offer specifically states that the amount does not change unless specifically stated. The loan and down payment do change percentage. Well, I think it was just a statement, right? He was helping answer the question, I think, so it wasn't really a question. Down payment do change under paragraph 1B of the counter offer. Am I reading this incorrectly? Anybody want to answer that one? Crickets. Let's go to the next one. I got another one right here. Here we go. We'll have to come back to the 1B portion and help him out. Okay, so let's see. What is required when we find an old deed of trust on record? How do we clear the title? Who wants to answer that one for us? On clearing title. All of a sudden, surprise.
There can be multiple ways, right, to get to B. So there can be a couple of options. So if it's an old deed of trust, and example, like I had a title open, I opened title for one of my clients that just has a listing. So we're opening title before even getting the escrow. The title came on and there was a deed of trust from like 1997. But my client just bought the property through foreclosure, so it's not their deed of trust. But I actually contacted title in that case and told them, look at the chain of record and see if there was a legitimate sale on the transaction. So in that case, title did research and was able to find out, obviously it's not the current owner, right? Then they saw that there was transactions where this person did refinance out of this transaction and then sold it later on. So in that case, title was able to remove it by doing their own due diligence. Other option is, well, you'd have to contact, right, if it was the actual borrower's deed of trust that's still on there, we would have to tell them to contact that lender. And we'd have to try and contact them to get a payoff. And of course, is it a legitimate bank or a private beneficiary as well? There's going to be options depending on what kind of deed of trust it is. If it's a private beneficiary, we'd have to try and contact them to get the necessary paperwork that title requires. I mean, there's other options too, right?
There's a bond as well.
Right.
If it's the same owner, right, it hasn't changed title, but I do get, they're like from, you said 1968,
Yeah,
right? And for whatever reason, title just does not want to release it because it hasn't really been any activity. We do have to purchase a bond. So, you know, I think we all have contacts to a bond company we work with. And typically it's title requires like for it to be insured 2 times of the deed of trust. And I know the bond company will charge like a 1% or 2% of that amount, and that's what it covers. And once we have that, then we can close the escrow.
All right, thank you. And how about out here, our audience members with coffee and donuts? We've got a question right here. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to mention something to Jacqueline when she said about remembering the tax. What we teach our students is no darn fooling around November, December, February, April. And then for sports enthusiasts to remember the due dates, 1st and 10, do it again.
I really like that. No, I like that. Yeah.
How about anybody else? Anybody else? I mean, you sound like you've all had easy transactions. I don't believe any of you. I see a gentleman over here.
Have you ever had to deal with a transaction where the funds are going into a Delaware statutory trust, or rather a deferred sales trust?
This guy just, if you're on Zoom, he just asked a really hard question. So
Please elaborate for us.
Yeah. So I was in this transaction just recently where people that were selling their home, they had done 1031 exchanges all of their life. And now they were transferring it towards the end of the transaction. We get a letter from this DST company. It's a deferred sales trust, where they're asking escrow to wire the funds to this trust when it closes, not wire to the trust account, not wire of the sellers, but that they are going to handle it much like they would at a 1031 exchange. There's confusion there because Delaware statutory trust is a way that you can defer, you can have a deferred tax investment. Well, this is a totally different animal. It is money that is going into the deferred sales trust so that it can be later doled out to the sellers in increments. A commissary note is created. So our first underwriter, we finally were able to do it, but they had escrow sign a 2-page addendum. Yeah, our title company, our title policy company, and so you're going to see those probably. They are not allowed by the tax board. So if you ever see those and you have any more questions, there are going to be 2 pages of indemnity, a 2-page indemnity.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, personally, if it's not my seller's account or trust account, I 1031 exchange, it has to go to my seller that I'm closing escrow. Definitely, for sure. So I think we would definitely consult our attorney before wiring any proceeds other than on my seller, you know.
But you called it what? DST, Deferred Sales Trust? Okay.
Yeah, deferred sales. And you know, if you were working in a exchange, you'd be working with an exchange.
So for those on Zoom land, he's talking about the first sales trust. If you haven't heard about it, I haven't. And raise of hands, has anybody else heard about this thing? We only have a couple. So for those of you that didn't raise your hand, get on the Googles or contact somebody up here to get more information to find out what they're hearing. Because this gentleman is saying that they're becoming more common and you might run across that.
For sure. Thank you, Marcus,
All right,
for bringing that up.
I think we, that's it for this part of the program. Do we have somebody closing?
George.
George, come on up. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Carlo.
Thank you, everybody.
Wonderful moderation, and thank you all the panelists for sharing your wisdom with us. Now, we're coming to this fun part of our meeting, which is the drawings. You win prizes. And now we have the attendance drawing first. And all members are included in the attendance drawing. And now this pot has grown to $575. Yes, yeah, if we don't get a winner today, another $25 will be added to the pot next week. So we'll draw a lucky winner. Mabel Yu. Mabel present?
No, she's
Okay,
not.
so we will add 25 to this pot. Next week, we have $600. Be sure you attend. And next, we have the Wsgr store drawings for $10 gift certificate. We're gonna have 4 winners, 2 virtual.
2 virtual, 2
and
live.
2 present here. So who's the first one? John Wax, you're here, right?
Give me one second. Hold on. No, he's here.
I'm here. I've just been unmuted. Thank you.
Hey, congratulations, John.
Thank you much.
Hey, who's the next lucky winner?
Oh. Virginia.
Virginia Gibb.
Yes, I'm here.
All right,
Here.
congratulations.
Okay, now we go
Now
live.
we go the live.
Yes.
Congratulations.
I'm sorry, what's his last name? What's his name, George? George? Okay. No, I'll write it, yeah, and George.
And next, we have the, let me see, education classes. We have many up and coming classes, short sale and foreclosure resource certification training next week, next Tuesday on the 28th. $89 to our members, $99 to non-members. And we have the 45-hour DRE license renewal, continuing education. And that's next July 8th, $85. Then we have the zip form plus hybrid training, which is free on July 11th. And then we have the commercial seminar on how the CCIM designation impacts my career or your career on July 12th. And that course is also free. So sign up for those trainings to empower yourself and your customers. And we're back live and joining us at the association. we encourage all of you to join us in person. We have more fun, more interactions. Now it's time for our 50-50 raffle.
Yeah, tell them it's 27. There's only 24 there. That will give them the other $3 after the meeting.
Lucky winner has this ticket. 621-435.
Okay, she owns.
We have a winner?
Over here.
Oh, very good. How much?
27.
$27.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And please plan on joining us next week for our July 4th celebration. We will have full breakfast will be served beginning at 8:30 a.m. Please remember to wear your red, white, and blue. Yeah. And once again, hey, congratulations to Wsgr on your 100 years. And thank you for everyone for attending our meeting today. Now the meeting is adjourned. See you next week.